Good morning, everyone. I just got in here and you're starting to make noise already? Okay. Here's Maverick. They're in. Now I'm hoping I had to start with a little hay so they will stick around. Huh? Make sure they get enough. And he threw his bowl out here nice and easy, huh? Yes? He knows how to open his stall too, so I have to put a bar at the bottom there. That's so smart. Okay. Morning routine, huh? Yes. And I'm going to watch him too when he gets really excited. My back looks really interesting to take a nip out of. You don't really like that too much, though, huh? Not really. Chapter 7. Part 1. I was kind of thinking, well, what should that chapter be about? It kind of seems to be... Okay, back up a little bit, please. Thank you. And I thought, well... one thing that, of course, is very dear to my heart. Are just the children all over the world. And, oh man, people make so much money off of children. Unbelievable. People spent a lot of money on children too. So how did God raise a child? Oh, easy there. You guys get so excited. Huh? How would God raise a child? How would he? Well, in a way, in every child's life, a child. What's a child? I guess we have all these different terms. First it's an infant, then it becomes a toddler, then I don't know. After the toddler, it's a child, then it becomes a preteen, then it becomes a teenager, and then eventually, I guess you get to adulthood. So those are the kind of physical labels, per se, that people give the growth of a child into an adult. So, well, one way, should I put a little, I think I'll put a little corn in for the piggies here. They don't have much from the house this morning. Yeah. Come on, girl. I think one's own childhood reflects a lot on how then you end up raising your own children. I guess. I don't know. I know that could be a fact in my life. Okay. Maddie, those pigs are going to eat you. Come on. Oh. You want to lick it out, don't you? Okay, here we go. I thought this was going to be an easier one. But how to not step on people's toes with what you have to say, per se, about all that. How would God raise a child? So a child, I'd say, up to the age of what? 10, 11, 12? Kind of in that age group. It's interesting when you talk to people, or children, doesn't matter what age they, okay, matters, 6, 7, 8 years old and up, you know, to 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and you ask, so what do you want to be later in life? Yeah? What do you want to do? And a very customary answer, more than any other one I noticed, is, I don't know. I don't know. Well, I was 6, 7. People that asked me, I'd have had it all laid out already. And I did, but nobody asked me. So. Oh, that's kind of sad. Not really. I think that God's very much a part of every child's life. In a way that is either recognized or not. Now, my childhood, I grew up with lots of religion around me, not just in our home, but in the community, and in our nation, in the country that I grew up in. Lots. It was everywhere, and very predominant. And so I had this just kind of spiritual, or say, I don't want to say religious, because for me it wasn't just religion, something that you're just born into, then grow up with, you know, and then kind of held into, almost forced, and if not, if you decided to break out of that mold somehow, yeah, for one reason or another, then, I always find it amazing when you stay right where someone wants you to stay. That's X. Now stand on X, right? Then you're good. You're good. But when you said, well, I like that circle over here, I think I want to go over here. And then that circle, I'm going to break that circle. I want you to step all over wherever I want to. Yes. I saw one this morning. We were off a little, but give a little context to it. I need to put the hay out, don't I? That everyone should be allowed to practice whatever religion without any persecution and judgment. Yes? No? I think that's a futile statement. Or basic or requirement or demand. Because he says, get going already. We have, and just about every religion that I've studied has that, have the golden rule. They have guidance, guidelines, good guidelines. Not talking about, okay, good guidelines. Talking about the good in all of the religions. And they have a figure of some sorts that had physically established herself on the physical plane for one reason or another. I like that. For one reason or another, right? And the people, that's part of their foundation. And as far as I know, most of them were good. They give good guidance. So it's not about the religion that you get to just choose whatever religion or have to be accepted for whatever religion. What's within that religion that unites everybody in the world that then you can accept that and not just set that. Even if, you know, it is better to seek the good in everything than the negative. Because that's what everyone can unite under. And again, the golden rule, treat your neighbor as you would like to be treated yourself. Of course, the neighbor should have the same golden rule, right? Well then, exactly. Then what do you need religion for? That's how God raises every child to a certain age. You ready? Maddie, watch out. You know better than to get in his way. He was in a good mood this morning. Yeah? You guys ready? Let's see, you got anything in your eyes there? Oh, you did, huh? Okay. You ready? You want to go first? Oh, man. There you go. Oh, he walked out real good this morning. That's good. Are you ready? Yes. Which way do you want to go? You going to come out this way too? All right. Go on. There's food out there. I put some out. Tuck, tuck, tuck. And there he goes. Simple way, right? Take care of it. I didn't need to hit him. I didn't need to drag him. It's with goats, the same thing, by the way. And with the horses, sometimes all I have to have is the Maverick. Sometimes doesn't want to go out because he says, "Well, I'm not done eating in here." So I have a lead rope over here. Oh, what up over here? And up over there. I have a lead rope and have it rolled up. All I have to do is take that in my hands. That's all I have to do. I don't have to put it around his neck and also drag him out. All I have to do is just take this in my hands and he goes out. Okay, all right. Yeah, that's it. That's all I have to do. When we raise children, you are going to get a myriad of ways to do that. Since I grew up mainly with just the mom, she had to work a lot. And as a child, I knew there was one thing that I can help on with that. And that was, don't get into trouble. Okay. I really tried. I was one of these kids, if I saw an injustice happening somewhere, I had to step in. It was like there was no thought or anything. Oh, what am I getting into here? I just had to step in. That was that. And that sometimes got me into trouble. Okay, maybe twice a year, 3 times a year, or something like that, which is not bad, is it? Otherwise, I was a model child. And I think that in the way that I was still, even though I was surrounded with all this religion, somehow my mom was really good, maybe because she didn't have as much time, right? She's really good to make it fun, not forced. And yeah, it's an odd one. I don't know if anybody had a child like mine. I don't know. Maybe there are people out there. You know, if I tell the whole story, this and that. But when it comes down to it, I loved my childhood. I loved my give and take with Spirit World and the religion that I was around till I got old enough and had to say, wait a minute. There's some things here not right. Oh, we got a problem here. Oh, dear me, what happened to Bo? Change of feed. This seems going all right. Yeah, switch again. Can cause some loose poop here. I have to just watch it so it doesn't stay that way. So what do you give a horse with diarrhea? Blackberry briars. Great. I could also take the roots and make a tea. Give it to him with a little salt and sugar in it. Molasses. That will help too. But usually this regulates itself. Oh. So there we go. Well, this is a slow one, but since I'm talking a book, I don't think it matters. I learned a lot from the religion that I grew up with as a child when it came to the care that God had for me. as a child. And on how that guided me in many really great directions, and also helped me to understand as a child, young child, what the path of my mom was in all that. So when we had a carnival come to town, for example, we had a few come every year, different places. Our mom would give us, that was, I remember around 50 years ago, 45, 50 years ago, and all that transpired. And she said, okay, here is $5 for everyone. And we would go and have fun with that $5. Well, even at that time, $5 wasn't all that much. So, my brother and my sister, they had this way. Within no time, they were a part of someone's crew there. And they were even younger than I was, but once they reached about 8, 9, 10, 11, they were together, always together. They were a part of the crew there, helping someone out. Then they get the free rides, right? Yep, So that's what they did. I was just really good at just taking care of my money. And I wasn't a big fan of rides to SNAP because, again, dealing with my migraines, I had to be very careful of what I did. And I would get, the merry-go-round was all right, but just about anything else. And I would try again and again to ride some of them other ones. I'd just get so sick. So it's like, okay, no need for that. So I would I'd get on the merry-go-round. I enjoyed that too. And there was one more. Oh, if there was a roller coaster, for some reason, the roller coasters didn't do anything to me. No problem there. But I was also a very cautious child. Hard to believe, but it's true. Because another thing, I didn't, if any of us, if we would get hurt, that was another strain on our mom. So I tried to be really careful not to get hurt or do anything that could get me hurt. Well, I might get on the roller coaster and something happens and then, okay. So weird, right? That was me as a child. And I believe the reason I grew up like that, and I've seen that in other children as well, is because though religion was a big part of, I'm talking growing up as a child, not then when I got into teenage and become a teenager and go, nope, don't like that, don't like this. And then I got feedback when I voiced my concerns or had questions. I'm talking about when you're a child growing up. How does God raise a child? God raises a child by trying to give you an environment that is possible to have some interaction with some type of religion, which that seems to be necessary, right? In order to be in contact with God or hear about God. Yeah, is it really? Okay, but that is how it is. So I found children that have been taken to church had, again, it just depends. If in order for your religion to look better, you have to put another one down, per se, then you're already creating what in a child? Yet, that's up to the parents. That's where, in a way, God's trying to still raise the parents. One has to pay attention to that. How are our children, how do they become bullies? Even though they may be growing up in a very strict religious household. Well, that's the problem. No, it's because most likely they're being told, hey, Tinkle, that their religion is it. And then another thing is the promises made. Right? So my mom would give us, go back to that. And that could derail a child. And have a child already, you're raising a child towards judging and persecuting. Right? Yeah. So my mom, so we'd get that money and then we'd be out, go home. She said, oh, you're back. Yeah. And then I would go home to have something to eat because you don't want to spend your $5 on food. So Mom said, okay, here you go. I'll give you another $5. Oh. So we get another $5. We go off again. And then we go home again. She'll give us $2. And then we knew that was it. Kind of, okay. All right. Was I kind of aware of that's what she was doing? I mean, go home. Not really. That was one thing I wasn't really aware of. Later on, I know, that was really smart on how my mom showed us the value of money. Instead of just giving us all the $12 she had saved up. She would save up for these occasions, just for us, right? To be able to go and be a part of it. Not like other children who had $50 to $100, right? We had each $12 to go with every time, too. I did not notice that for a long time. That's what my mom did. And she, in many ways, now, I can't speak for my brother and sister, but I can speak for myself. It has taught me the value of money. It also taught me on how, even though we had so much less than other children, maybe, yeah, she stretched it to a lot. If she would have given us all $12 right to begin with, it would have been gone in a couple hours, right? Just about. That would have been it. And then we go home, and that would be it, right? Well, you can still wonder, well, that's not that much fun if you don't have some money in your pocket that you then can spend. What keeps you in venues like that? Money, right? So, well, for me, it was like that anyway. As I said, my brother and sister, they were, the whole weekend, after they were out of money, they were still down there the whole time, helping out and then getting their rides. Yeah, it's funny, right? They had their way. So Mom already knew that it wouldn't take this long, but she stretched it out over the whole day, right? Without us kind of noticing. So then we were there the whole day with some money in our pocket, right, to spend where we wanted to. In many ways, on how I was raised, was a great blessing to me. And on how my mom managed to, with her so busy schedule working, she managed to put 3 meals on the table every day. Every day. Because in Switzerland, you go home for lunch. So breakfast was on the table. Lunch is the main meal, was on the table. And then dinner was on the table. every day. I don't remember. Now, there might have been some times where, they weren't 5-course meals or anything like that. But, oh, I loved everything my mom cooked. On top of that, she was a good cook. Yes. Amazing. Yes. Very amazing. So, in the way, though, how I used this example with the money, how God raises a child, sometimes there is just a little that he manages to squeeze in, right? Some teachings or something for the child. And then a little bit later again. And then a little bit more. Until it becomes the child, the young adult, then the adult, responsibility to continue that and to start that true give and take, heart to mind with God. I have never met a child who didn't have that to a certain degree. Yeah, but no, I've never met one. And I guarantee you that it's there for every child. Okay, now if there is a certain abuse, horrific abuse that comes with that, then it becomes very difficult for God to step in. And that's also where the blindness of the adults comes in, or the greed of others. Yeah, well, as I said, yeah, we could talk this one to death, but there's no need for it. I know, in the way I grew up, in the way my brother and sister grew up, all three of us made certain choices with what we were given. And each one of us went from there. So to raise a child in this day and age, well, as it always has been, I highly recommend to the parents to find a place where they go with their children if it's not happening in their own home, which can to meet God. And then watch, though, right? I went to many different churches with my children, but I had to learn the hard way on that one, that you sit in with Sunday school, even when they're teenagers, to make sure that the teacher isn't suddenly letting something out, or you look at the curriculum. Okay, what's your curriculum? You're going to be talking about this, that, okay, let me see. As a parent, we have a responsibility there. That is our responsibility. It isn't a reverence or a priest or a nun's or a Sunday school teacher's responsibility to raise your child in that regard. Oh, well, yes. But it's the parent who needs to go and check and see, okay, what's the atmosphere here, first of all, in that Sunday school room? And how is it being taught? Is it being taught to meet God? Because that's what it is for children. You do not coerce children when it comes to religion. If you do that, well, we know what can happen with that, right? Suddenly they have to have a gun in their hand. That's part of their religion. And they learn to kill at an early age. Okay, that's extreme. Not necessarily. How do you think knights were raised during the Holy Wars? And the Middle Ages, this snap. But we're talking about today's time. So I really suggest for parents, take your babies to church. Take your children to church. If they don't want to go, and I have my granddaughter, she didn't really want to go to Sunday school. Well, later on, once in a while, but she wanted to sit with me. She wanted to be a part of all that. And my granddaughter's heart to mind is absolutely beautiful. Why is it so beautiful? Because I think that she met God early on in a very unbiased environment. So, now we come to that. An unbiased environment. That is what children need. And maybe a pastor, a reverend, or Sunday school teacher might hear this and say, oh, yes. So how do you do that? The Bible has so many stories that children can then relate to, right? I think that's one reason we have so many stories in there. The way they are written, often it's like, man, this is like a kid's story or something, you know? And I'm supposed to believe that? Is that really? You know? And of course, there's always a little bit more to it. But the stories very much are geared towards children, to give them a first look into the courage and strength a human being can have. And which way maybe not to go with certain things. Huh? What they are capable of as human beings if they are staying on the side of good. Yeah. So, I think that raising children, and I remember our children would, so we had this 5 a.m. Sunday morning. It's just one day, right? But it's Sunday. The one day. So Sunday morning, 5 a.m., you said pledge. To get these children out of bed at 5 a.m. and then dress them up and get them ready for pledge at your own home. Why? I know why it's being done, or why, suggested for as a condition to step, but why? Why did that? I finally said, man, we're not doing this anymore. Yeah, we're not doing this anymore. This for my children is awful. This is giving them a distaste. And I don't want them to have a distaste for that. So I started just to have pledges, but it's 5 o'clock somewhere, kind of thing. And had pledge in different ways. Then, I said, why am I only doing this on Sundays? So, did other different things every day. That gave them a little bit of a time, every time, to meet God. Yeah, every day. Yeah, did it work? Free will. Freedom to choose. What are you going to do? But I believe that throughout their lives, from what I know them better than anyone, they have retained a real goodness, a goodness that nothing has ever been able to destroy. And that foundation has stayed with them through thick and thin, through health and sickness, and so on and so forth. That's what I see in my children. How would God raise a child? God would raise a child to have a good moment every day. If those good moments can be longer, that's even greater. But these good moments are not to go to the store and buy them a new game. That's not it. That's not what I'm talking about. Because that's all just on the surface. A good moment in a child has to go deeper than that. Yeah. Now, what could that be in your children? I don't know. That's up to you. I know a good moment with in my life was when we would sit down to prayer, and then my brother and my sister, they'd start having a laughing fit. I mean, serious ones. And here I am going, oh, come on. Because I don't know, for some reason, I really enjoyed these meetings with God. Here, those two. Can't sit still for a moment, this, that. And here's my mom, and she'd kind of go on, and then, here I'm trying to stay real. It's very hard to stay focused and not start laughing, giggling too, okay? And here goes my mom. Here, I'm trying to stay real serious, keep going with mom. And here she starts to giggle. Oh, and my mom could laugh. Oh my gosh. Here she starts to giggle, right? Now, of course, why am I holding back? And here we are, all four of us, sitting on the couch, laughing, just laughing, right? Just laughing as hard as we can. Tears coming, rolling out of our eyes. That could go on for 10 minutes. Okay. And then, well, what would most parents do? What would most parents do in a situation like that? All right, I will pick this up later. No, not my mom. No. We'd calm down. She'd say, okay, everybody good? Huh? Yeah. And then she'd continue on. Sometimes that would happen twice. So, our meeting with God was extended by probably a good 20 minutes due to our laughing fits. And, my mom would not. She never skimped on time with that. Yeah. So, another little tidbit on, you don't give up. And the thing is, neither my brother or sister ever said, well, that was done next time. Let's not laugh. We'll be done 20 minutes earlier. Never. I've never heard them say that. I've never got the feeling that's kind of, now we have to keep going. It was just for one reason or another. There was this mirth. When my mom would start praying, this mirth would just echo through the room, and no one could resist. Those were not just good, they were great moments. Great moments in my childhood. And they were all connected to God. Yes. Well, you had it so easy. Yeah, well. There is more to most people what they tell you from their childhood. But why would I continuously seek for things that just didn't quite work out or were necessary in one way or another? In my life as a child, I found that not one moment that I spent anywhere was wasted. Not one, that's another. Not one moment. Even with my migraines that I dealt with for so many years and so much pain, I don't think that was a waste either. So happy I can say that now, not going through it. When I went through it, when I would wake up, the migraine would be gone, and I had this just thick head going, trying to get out of that fog now. I was so grateful I wasn't in pain anymore. So grateful, even as a child. I was, as time went on, and I knew kind of the schedule of a migraine, and I could deal with that. Hi, Bo. That's a rare visit here. Did you come back from a walk? I was so grateful that there was a path from the onset of a migraine to the end of it. For me, luckily, nice, it was just a few hours every time. So that's how I perceived these trials, these harder times, or if one would want to call it that. Again, I guess it just depends. In a way, where I grew up, God almighty, the World War II, the Holocaust was drilled into us. Then you just go, well, we're good. But the children went through there. Oh, we're good. I'm good. I'm good. I've got nothing to complain about. I could have been one of those children. Either used by Dr. Mengele for research and science, or starved to death, abused in other ways, going into a gas chamber. Just that. That went deep for me when we get started earlier. Where we were, I don't know what they do now. There's been so many years. Maybe their curriculum has changed too. But in a way, that has. Oh well, I'm going to see him anyway. I think he needs a little more too. In a way, it was. Taught you as a child. Wow. Yeah. So how does God raise a child? Oh, by having the Holocaust happening so that I can learn to be grateful for my migraines? No. Okay. Now, people have odd ways of thinking out there. When you say something, they're going to come up with every if and but and I don't know what, and not kind of say, okay, that is a path. That is a path one can take to a happier existence. Or if you're a parent, don't every parent wants their child to have better? Okay, well, there are the exceptions out there of that. Then why not give them these moments to meet God in a good way, in a healthy way, in a non-coerced way? And then no matter what comes towards them, in a way, most of it, we have to be honest with ourselves, is self-inflicted, okay? When you're an adult, I'm not talking about children who get kidnapped for one reason or another and then go through horrific things, or get beat up by their parents, or I don't know what else, in horrible ways. It's how do children like that meet God? It's a global sin, and none of us is free of guilt when it comes to that. And one has to ask oneself, how did these children grow up to become such a evil and horrific part in a child's life? And when I see on how children who are clearly bullies or rarely stopped, and then someone find out what is going on in that child's life, that it is acting like this already, then right there is part of your answer. And sadly, again, who is a big part of that? And religion is a big part of that as well. So, to say that all religions, which is a belief of a certain kind, should be not persecuted and not judged is wrong. Because some of these beliefs, and there are religions out there, believe that to put a gun in a child's hand is the right thing to do. Basically, to kill another child, another human being. To use women and children for their pleasures. There are plenty of religions out there. Big ones too, who use girls. To make an excuse then and put that, all of it, under one umbrella, that all religions or beliefs should be accepted and not thought over, and yeah, well, that's what they do, then that's wrong. And again, who is denying a child now a good moment and to meet God? Who's doing that? We are all doing that. We are all doing that. And I'm not sure what it is going to take for people to take off them blinders. I don't understand how people who actually really truly work for the liberation of all children, per se, or get so attacked and persecuted and judged, because their belief, as it is my belief, is that you care for every child that comes your way. You try to defend every child that comes your way, born or unborn. And that you do not become a part of certain practices that then you have to step back, because in one way or another you're involved as well when it comes to immorality. Right. So how would God raise a child? By making sure, trying to make sure, give it every opportunity to become a good human being with a heart to mind that cares for the people out there. We have some very, very good examples of children out there who the parents basically go, well, that's just how he is, that's just how she is, giving their birthday money or their whatever would have been used for their birthday to a good place, usually for children, an orphanage or hospital, right? Something, to a good They want to do something better with that money than, oh, they just came up with that. I guarantee you that the parents had something to do with that. Trying to change just a little bit of that, of a child's mindset when it comes to owning, wanting things, even though you already got everything. Right? Those are great parents too, and they're raising great children. You can't do that without God. Not really. Anywho, let the circle be unbroken. We have to relearn many different things. Raising a child, I think, is one thing. And trying to find your maze in it all. And that takes a very dedicated parent. Did my mom have all that time? No, she didn't. Yet she still found a way. These small ways, sometimes out of necessity to step, but still, they made a great impact on me. Anyway, but that's all I wanted to share today. They're all laying their eggs, or they just did, and they have to let me know. 3 of them in here. That's good. All the younger ones are starting to lay eggs. Woo! Then they're going to have a cooling down period. When it gets so cold, they don't lay eggs for a few weeks. But they're laying so many right now, just before winter, that we'll have plenty for winter time. Good girls. Proud of you. Yes, proud of you. That's why I don't shoo them out. Be quiet and making a video. Right? Yes. Because they're so giving. I benefit so much from it. Yes. God's love and blessings always. I will talk to y'all another time. How would God raise a child?